So we've had this Prevost in here. He came in for some electrical work, and then he had a big clunk in the front end on his way here. So we ended up doing a bunch of work on the front end as well. We're finishing up with kingpins here and going through the electrical stuff on it. This is the Flat River Band. I'll put a link to them in the description. If you like country music, especially stuff with really good harmonizing and stuff like that, you'll really like these guys. So I'll put a link to it, check them out. But yeah, this bus is pretty awesome. Just needs a little bit more extra work, and we're gonna get through this electrical stuff. I stocked these new brake springs here, so we'll be able to put these on. They stretch out. Pops those rollers out. I'm gonna put the new springs on. And these go where they curve out, so there's room for the hub to spin on there. Unlike the old one, they put on backwards and that rub down there. It's supposed to go that way. That is definitely kingpin shim play. Needs to be reshimmed. Okay. Pushing down really hard on it while you're doing it? Yeah. Okay. Don't think so. We always try the air hammer first, because if it works, that's great. It takes time to set up the tool, the kingpin press, but on this particular bus, we got to tear it down a lot more. About a half hour to more work to get it set up on there, because more parts have to come off of the knuckle and stuff. So we always try the air hammer first, then if that doesn't work, we're going to the kingpin press. We picked up this new 60-gallon air compressor. It takes us 175 PSI, and that's what we're using, 175 PSI on that air hammer, hoping to really knock those kingpins out. Kingpin press on there now.
It's hitting the pin. See the wall at all. Ready?
Yep.
Not be turning anymore.
Just do a couple little clicks. Jesus, that's a lot of force. Let's let it sit with that pressure on it for a little bit. Those holes where the wedge pins go in and hold the kingpin in place, that's where it seizes in that area there. So we're gonna continue to spray some Croil in those holes to let it seep in and let this press. There's a lot of pressure on it right now at this point. That's like 1,500 foot-pounds on that impact gun, and it's really struggling at that point. So we're just gonna let the pressure sit on there. We're gonna keep spraying some Croil in there, and hopefully it'll free it up. So we're gonna use the air hammer. He's gonna put it on the knuckle part in the middle where it's stuck at, with the pressure still on it from the press.
I think I'm on there.
Hitting where the holes are for the pins. Oh, they're above it or below it.
I don't know. I'll do it on this side. I'll just hit the top part.
Pin is. Hit the impact again. So we're definitely going full send on this. We're going to use this creeper blanket just to kind of throw up around it in case this tool does break and pieces go flying. This will absorb some of the energy.
Official ballistic blast shield.
Jonathan's putting on the face shield, and I'm going to try and stay back. We won't be able to see that though, I think. Your chair back. Or can you sit on that one? We confirmed at the bottom that it is not hitting the bracket, so we haven't heard it pop yet. Usually it makes a big loud pop. Boy, I've never had one require this much pressure to come out before. So we're going to let it sit over the weekend with the pressure on it and then try it again on Monday morning. But I think sitting over the weekend, and we'll keep putting coil through those holes, and maybe it'll come free a lot. This video is sponsored by the Mowrator. This is a remote control lawnmower, and this is absolutely the coolest lawnmower I've ever seen. This is the all-wheel drive model, and this front suspension pivots on the arm there. That's kind of cool. Never seen a lawnmower with that. Here I'm pairing the remote with the lawnmower. It has multiple speeds. The blade can spin at different speeds. You can drive it at different speeds. You can control the speed as you're doing it. It's really cool. This thing is very quiet. It has a lot of safety features. If you bump something, it'll shut off, or you can disengage that mode, which I did. If it gets too far away, it warns you. It's zero turn. I mean, you can turn on a dime on this thing. It takes a little bit to get used to the remote on it. When you're driving something to and from you and away from you, you gotta let your brain think backwards, but it's really fun. You have the bagger on it here. It has an accessory you can buy that'll self-dump the bag if you want to. And here I'm mowing some really, really tall grass with it, and it's just eating it right up. Another benefit here on our property, you got to worry about ticks and stuff like that, and other bugs while you're mowing. And now you're nowhere near the mower, so you're not kicking up all that stuff or pollen. You're not, breathing it all in, and I don't have to worry about ticks. Again, that's really important for me here. You can set that deck at different heights. So here I'm rolling over all kinds of obstacles, rocks and stuff like that, and not worried about hitting them because I got it up a little bit higher, but cutting through the tall weeds and stuff. It's called the Mowrator. I mean, this thing is a monster. It does really good. It goes slow in reverse. When you put it in reverse, that's a safety feature. Not sure if you can turn that off or not. Maybe go regular speed, but there's all kinds of safety features. If the blade hits something, it'll stop, or you can hit those red buttons on the top of the emergency to stop it. If you lift up the bagger thing, it'll stop so nobody can lift it and stick their hand into the blade. So it does have a lot of safety features. This is an all-wheel drive model, and it will climb our steep hill. This thing will climb very, very steep grades and mow. So if you have big hills on your property, this is great. I'm impressed.
This is where it starts getting hard, right?
Yeah,
Right
it's
in
already
here.
taller, higher than us.
Yeah.
We went with these upgrade optional all-terrain tires, which have more grip and knobbies on them. I don't have to stand out in the sun when I'm mowing. I can sit under this umbrella and mow all of the weeds around the pool. I'm gonna try to reclaim some of that area over there with the mower today and get some more usable yard out of the woods here. Wow, did that thing do a good job. It bush hogged this whole area. It's on the high mode now. I can lower the deck. I'll come in here now and start picking up some twigs and branches and cut some of the saplings out, but it cut most of the saplings down. That thing is a bush hog. It did awesome. I put it through a test today. I can't believe what it did out here. Yeah, I would say we have a lot more yard space now. Just continue to clean it up, but that thing did awesome. Link in the description. We have a discount code. Use Bus Grease Monkey. It's going to save you 8% off. This thing is really cool. So check out the link. Thanks for them for sponsoring this. Full disclosure, they did send us a first one of this, and there was a problem with a wheel sensor. They had to replace it. They sent out another one. But then I really tested it. As you see, I tested it hard in this video, and this thing really held up for us for that. But I did want to just mention that we did have a slight problem, but they did take care of it and replace the unit. We got the new replacement wheel studs. These are a little bit longer for the aluminum rims, so they got more threads for the lug nuts. Monday morning, we were working in the shop and we heard a pop. And Jonathan goes, I bet that was a kingpin. And yeah, I think the pressure released on it. You don't want it all the way out, do you? Keeping it lined up. We need to figure out why his house batteries aren't charging. They're not charging when he's not going down the road with the alternator, and they're also not charging when he's plugged into shore power. So let's figure out where the system's linked at and figure out what's going on. So the first thing I'm doing here is charging these batteries. They were down to 0.2 volts. As soon as I added power to them with that switch on, some stuff over here went click. So we'll figure out what does what over here. But there's obviously a solenoid there. Figure out where's the power coming in from the batteries, where it's coming in from the alternator. how it's connected together, what has to happen. The ground over there looks not very nice. I see a bunch of green corrosion and rust and stuff on there. A lot of times you can start by just cleaning up the grounds on this stuff and magically it'll all start working. But there's some things that are hooked together that aren't together. You know, that's got nothing on that terminal there. Looks like maybe this at one point was taken off of that and they just taped it together. So what's in use, what's not in use? Got a mess to figure out. Jonathan's knocked all the studs out of there. He's taking the races out. He's going to install new races and put the new longer studs in there. These studs press in from the front and then a nut goes on the back that holds them on. And we get all new hardware for them. So the nuts that go on the back are all new, and then we'll put new lug nuts on them too. We don't want to put an old crappy lug nut on a new stud. But he's just getting everything cleaned up here before he starts reassembling. He's got the kingpin back in over here. This side he added 3 shims on, so one of the thicker ones and then 2 of the thinner ones. So the other side took 2 shims, this side took 3 shims. But we were able to reuse the kingpins. There was no wear in the kingpins. The bushings looked great. Saved him a lot of money in labor and in parts by just being able to use some shims, put new shims in there, and then re-grease everything and make it good to go again.
So go through up here.
Yeah, just the red and the black. I'm getting a 0.
Is it because I'm on 200?
Yeah, maybe. Still seeing 0.
We'll do it a little easier.
Touch the
in case
wires.
It's not.
Yeah. Or 0. I'm gonna turn this battery switch on. Okay.
This?
Now that does give those power when the switch is on. So the batteries are at 12.2, 12.5. Okay, you hold on to that. I'm gonna plug that thing in. Nothing increased. So that thing's bad. That's not charging, it should be. Okay, that's fine. You can come on a little bit. Okay, we did check both fuses that are on the front of that there, and neither of those fuses are blown. Other than that, there's no other diag. So that little charger converter is bad. So we ordered a new one of those from Amazon. They're like 150 bucks for a 50 amp one. This one's only 30, I think. So it'll charge the batteries a little bit better for them. So we'll get a new one of those on there. That's just an independent problem. They had two separate issues where the house batteries, house batteries can charge from that thing, or they can charge from the alternator, and both systems were not working. So their house batteries were dying. All right, we're gonna replace this. This is loose. It's as tight as it'll go. I just pushed it on there kind of tight a second ago, but yeah, it was spinning on there. So I got a new one that will clamp on. That'll actually work for it. So yeah, that was just all, couldn't get any tighter, but it was loose, so it wasn't making good contact. So we'll put a new one on there. And get all these connections all cleaned up good. Spray a little of this on there, each of those terminals. Spray the whole thing, each of them. There you go. Clean them. Wouldn't hurt to just clean the wing nut ones there too. Get that crap off there. We're going to start looking into why the house alternator is not charging the batteries. So this is the voltage regulator for it. Looks a little suspect. The alternator is new, but let's take a look at this voltage regulator and see what we can find out. Well, what do you know? We found a broken wire off of the alternator there. All right, so the wire that's off, that's got the F, which means this won't effing work if that's not hooked up to the alternator. That's the field wire. So that goes to the alternator. This is the voltage regulator, which looks really crispy on the outside, but hopefully it'll still work. So because that wire is disconnected, I'm going to assume that is our problem. Hook it back up to the alternator, and we should be good to go. It says field on the back there, field and something else. I can't read it, but take my wire out of that plug. All right, so we cut the one wire off the plug. You can see where the other one broke off inside there. We're just going to eliminate the plug and go with some spade connectors on there. So we just hooked them up to some little spade connectors in there that are shrink wrapped, heat shrink wrapped. And just use those. So the field wire is the one on the left. That was what was disconnected on the plug. There was just two little spades in there. So we just cut the other one off, put a spade on it, boom. Alternator should charge now. All right, that should just about wrap it up with this bus.